following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host, and almost late to the show. You never can tell when somebody's going to decide to put a giant mobile home on the entranceway to the causeway across here. Not a lot of, big flat area down here in Tampa, and of course, there's always these giant choke points, and of course, water on either side, so unless you got a boat, you're not getting around anything. But barely made it in time. Only probably, I don't know, maybe 50 traffic violations on the way over. Glad I know where every one of those red light cameras are. Anyway, I'm still trying to put my right foot through the floor here, but we'll get on with it. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great and safe day out here. And, of course, it is always a wonderful day. But we're going to check in with the markets here because, of course, since I was trapped in the elevator, really didn't know what was going on for the last 10 minutes. But what do we have out here? Okay, we're off 1 point on the S&P cash. We're now, I guess, stuck in this 1868, 1867 range on the S&P cash, up to 1888. And we'll have to see what happens. 1.86 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape. And what else do you want to know about it? We are trapped. We are trapped like rats in a narrow trading zone. And I don't know what else to say out there. No energy. We've got dip buyers that will buy every dip. As soon as the dip no longer exists, they're no longer buyers, and that's it. So the question is, at what point do they quit buying these dips and not getting rewarded or getting fairly meaningless rewards if you're talking about a 10-point move in the S&P cash? But I digress. And of course, we've won so many awards for digressing at this show that I'm going to have to put a new wing on the mansion just for those digressing awards. Anyway, boy, I tell you what, trying to catch up on everything going on in the marketplace, always interesting, especially if you're stuck in a car. You can hear a little bit, but of course, if you're trying to avoid all those nutcases on the road like me, actually, I was probably one of the safer drivers out there today. I think everybody's gone insane. I had people weaving and wandering off the causeway, driving into the grass, waking back up. I don't know if they started drinking early for the weekend or what, but it was interesting. Anyway, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can post a message in the den. Normally, you can email me, but not on Fridays, because I'm not in front of my email system at home. And so if you email me, you won't get much. It's California? I don't understand what that means. Anyway, it is interesting. Gold basically flat, 1287 for the COMEX close today. Silver, same thing, 1911 for the close out there. So as we see a lot of these... we've got a comment from the peanut gallery here. It says, it's California. Throw your brains out the window and then drive. And that's probably not a bad thing to do. Especially down here. You don't want to get too wrapped up in too many things. Anyway, I was going to go through some of the stocks that are moving if we have a lot. GPS. And this is same-store sales rose 9%. And what can you say about this thing? It did hop the confluence level. It's back up to its previous gap. And, of course, what we're looking for is it didn't have much of a volume day down. You still have that high volume low out here at $37 from April 11th. So we'll be looking for that. But up 4% on a day where the market isn't moving a great deal. Always interesting. Symantec, SYMC. A little pop in that thing, up about 3.5%. It beat EPS by a nickel. This thing came back. It is filling this gap, or it has filled this gap out here, but certainly you gap down with some huge volume. In this case, 61 million shares back on the 21st of March. And 8 million shares, a nice little gap up, but certainly this thing has that high volume low that you want to watch out for. 2442.6. March 21st, $17.95, 60 million shares. So we'll have to look at that. Posted a message in the den earlier this morning, and maybe if I get a chance, we're going to go back and look at it. It got passed around a little bit, but the Vale, V-A-L-E, didn't see if this thing's moving at all today. But we'll see. Not doing anything. This is a giant mining concern, but they've got a giant nickel mine that had to be shut down for environmental reasons. Doesn't look like it's doing much to it there. Certainly made the prices of nickel skyrocket. Can't think that that's going to affect anything that I know of right off the bat, but always interesting to see how these commodities do help push the markets around. Of course, we saw a lot of that over the last week or so with Whole Foods. What is that, WFW? Or WF? I'll have to think about it. But certainly seeing that. But what we brought up the other day, and I brought up with Andy Heck, was just how potash was filling this gap from when it came down just monstrously hard when the Russians decided to blow apart the cartel that was holding up prices. But basically the Ukraine crisis, problems with crops this spring, and winter crops and wheat really look like maybe everybody's going to be fertilizing their backyards if they think that they can grow a couple of ears of corn and a few stalks of, is it a stalk of wheat? Could be. But is an interesting market. Let's see what else we have going on out here. Okay. I just wanted to take a quick look at some other stuff out here. Something's going on here. I don't know exactly what. Okay. We'll take a look here in a minute. Or at the break. I got some other housekeeping things to do. And we got plenty of time here. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. I wanted to get to some tests from yesterday, start looking at some stocks there also. You had a few out here that were out testing the highs. I wanted to see if we got any movement in this market at all. Crane and Company, I don't know a lot about them, so let's find out about them in the meantime. Crane manufactures and sells engineered industrial products in the United States and internationally. It operates in aerospace, electronics, engineered materials, and merchandising systems and fluid handling. Okay. Coolant systems, fuel pumps, seat actuation products, power supplies, custom microelectronics for aerospace defense. I guess these guys just can't figure out what they're good at. They're going to do everything. Microwave frequency components. Sounds like a big multinational. But interesting. I was watching this one just because of the big volume high out here from March 7th at $73.38. Basically 710,000 shares. Got into it with 380,000 shares, he said, yesterday, and kind of tucking back in underneath that high. Energy certainly much lower on this last move up than what really drove it up from that $59 low from February 4th up to that March 7th high. So not a whole lot of, you wanted to see some of these stocks moving that were up here at these highs if we were going to break out. That's why I kind of tend to be watching a lot of those. But like I said, not so much right now. And now we're off 3 points on the S&P cash. Talk about a market that you just have to give it about 5 minutes if you're a bear or a bull, and you've got hope yet again. But very interesting. I was looking at some other stocks out here. I've been looking at some of the bigger movers out here, just like IBM and Apple. Of course, Apple off strong today. I don't know how much you can say it's about them talking about buying beats. Pretty much unilaterally or universally. Everybody's kind of poo-pooing this on cable financial infotainment. But I have a feeling that this thing, just about like every other stock that has broken out or had a huge gap up, pretty much setting up to go back and fill it. Not a lot of volume here today, but you got to probably look at this 565 as a good area where Apple will probably find its first level of support as it comes back to this gap, probably over the next week or so. But certainly does not seem to get a lot of bids out here throughout the day. What else do we have? IBB. Of course, if we're going to run, I'm looking for the first movement to really come into IBB and the money start coming back in there. Today we had a little bit of movement, what is it, up 49 cents. Not a great deal, but you had some good Merck news out here, and if this thing was going to go higher, I figured that it would be 230 today if that was going to do some stuff for it. But mostly biotech, and I guess Merck's close enough to it. But you would think that you would start getting some more energy out of this stock. But just watching it trade the last few days as the ETF for biotechs really makes me think that we've got a good chance of testing this 207 probably sooner rather than later, that April 15th low at 207.48. And at that point, maybe you have a good chance of looking again at those biotechs if they're going to move higher. What else do we have going on out here? That's pretty much it. Pretty quiet day, huh? And let's see if we see Bud from Nashua, one of our hosts here at TFNN, in the den today. Always welcome to see some people from the past, and of course I guess he still does a few things around here from time to time, but welcome Bud back to the Tiger's Den. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to look at more stocks moving, some of these things testing highs, and see just if we can get any kind of information out of this market today. Anyway, be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Wouldn't it be
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box.
This red light,
green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technimental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now is the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technimental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technimental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach always taken the long view when it comes to investing. But what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at DirectionFunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. 727-445-1044.
And welcome back. And Bud in the den here says, old technicians never die. They just fade away in a gradual Fibonacci retracement. Oh, how true that is. I said, what you don't want is that one day that you get the big margin call to the sky. But that's it. But I digress. Again, we're going to win some more awards for digressing this year. Edwards Life Sciences, another one of these ones with a huge gap up. And this one's kind of holding the high, but not a lot of volume out here. Let's zoom in on this one. Nice pop, I assume, on earnings April 14th, $84.80. Trying to go through it today, that 7 million shares with about a tenth of it. Sounds problematic at best. What I really don't like is it did try to come back and fill about half that gap. And the volume did increase slightly. And if you look at here the last, 10, 14 trading days, very, very light of volume. Other stocks of interest that are out here in play, CBS off a little bit, off about $3. And it is, let's go take a look at that real quick, CBS. And, out here actually testing its lows, bigger volume today. not holding the low, but certainly went through the previous low of February 3rd, $55.71, 11 million shares, with 12 million shares today. You certainly had more volume out here, so you don't have a bottom in CBS. I think part of this is had something to do with the Olympics, but I didn't catch all of that earlier today. ALU beat quarterly EPS by a penny, but the rest somewhat problematic. Alcatel-Lucent, we've talked about this on the show several times. This company kind of came back from the dead, selling routers to China, mostly because the Chinese were kind of worried about the NSA being in Cisco. But certainly they were the only one that got a taste of that huge project this year where 40 of the largest cities were all being networked with gigabit fiber. So they're working very hard in China to get themselves up to world standards on the internet. Anyway, that was a huge contract. And of course, this well, let's even look back a little bit farther here. This thing came off from $1.27. That whole run up to this high out here pretty much was it. But now if we look more, looks like in a trading range, and that trading range probably about $3.40 up to that $4.50 range. But volume picking up out here. Let's see if I see anything else out here. Revenues fell 8%. That's what happened. Okay. Hearing downgrading from hold to buy. Okay. That's pretty much it. Another company moving, CSC. Take a look at this. CSC. Computer Sciences Corporation. This one also trying to have a nice little breakout. Couldn't hold the high. Certainly had all the volume to do so. I guess you could compare it back to this 6 million share day out on January 31st that hasn't been exceeded yet. But again, very tough to get these stocks up at the highs. They'll buy every dip, but they won't buy any breakouts. And February 26th had 1.5 million shares. You had 4 million shares today. You could make a case that this January 31st high, with all this volume, it hasn't been exceeded. But coming awful close out here today. Day isn't over yet, of course, as City Slickers told us. I got to get that recording of that guy. What was his name? Boy, he had such a great gravelly voice. But what can you say? Can't hold the highs. Problematic at best for any of these markets. Jack Palance, thanks, bud. And it is, he had that great gravelly voice you can only get from chain-smoking Marlboros 24 hours a day and chasing it with Jack. And of course, I think he actually lived to be fairly old, but boy, that voice always sounded like he'd been punched in the throat a bunch as a kid or younger in life. What else did we have? JCOM moving. Oh, wanted to look at Ubuntu now. Ubiquity off 22%. We'll get back with that as we come back. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern. And you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can't use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that you can simply streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi for live browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. To educate our audience of TFNN and to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Wanted to get to Ubiquity Networks and their earnings. Of course, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. I had looked at this company very early on in its IPO status, wanted to buy this thing, and there were a huge amount of rumors about the CEO and the people involved with organized crime in China and a bunch of other stuff. These guys make some of the best hardware in the world for Wi-Fi. If you go into probably a Starbucks or that kind of thing, you're probably you probably won't see it, but you're probably using one of their devices for access points. I used their stuff and it had actually Wi-Fi, had to go about 1.5 miles away, and bought one of their devices. Worked beautifully for long distance internet connections. This thing did recover, and I missed it mostly because of that. All the negative news, I just couldn't pull the trigger on this thing after all the ridiculous stories came out about the owners. Anyway, a huge pop-up, ran up to, $56.85, and probably, just like the rest of the market, way overheated. This thing is down today fairly sharply, 22%, beat EPS by a penny. Revenues rose 78.2% year over year to $148 million, but is saying that they are not going to have a lot of growth in the through the fourth quarter EPS. They were saying 48 to 52. Everybody was hoping that would be much higher, and basically everybody coming out and downgrading it to neutral. My guess is that we're looking back at this thing at this huge long-term gap up where this thing started to run, but that'd probably take it back to about $22.50. I really love the company's products, and of course, always a huge market for internet and Wi-Fi, and every time they change a standard, these guys get to sell upgrades to it. But most of their devices, little things that look like smoke detectors on the ceiling. If it looks like a UFO on the ceiling, probably probably something that they make. Anyway, a great day out here, and we've got down on massive volume, so you're going to have to let this thing work itself out. But I'm thinking, get back down to $22 and consolidate out for a while. That would be it. Some of these other stocks that have been moving, always wanted to get a hold of MCP. This thing pretty much fell out of bed the last few days. Still not doing any better today. Let's see out here. Just massive volume. This thing's probably going to need 3 months now to consolidate out these lows. Earnings were, of course, poor. Bigger loss. I think they had a 29-cent loss versus a 25-cent loss. But we also have China having issues and with the World Trade Organization. And, of course, they were artificially holding up prices of rare earth minerals. But what can you say out here? This thing, just get a better price out of it one day, I think. But of course, keep an eye on this one. There's a few stocks out there that you always want to know what's going on. If there's any problem with China, this is the go-to stock to pick up for a couple of day trade if we start rattling swords and firing back and forth at one another. It is the one source of U.S. rare earth minerals. And if you're going to make a smart bomb, you're going to have to need the ore from these guys. But probably less necessary now that China's cartel has been kind of broken. But still would be, interestingly, a good company at the right price. But we're going to have to let the market tell us that. Was actually basing out fairly nicely. But I wasn't willing to get in front of earnings, and lucky that I wasn't. Post. Ooh, ugly, ugly, ugly. Beaten with the ugly stick. POST. Post Properties. Post Holdings Properties. This thing down on heavy volume. This is back into its gap. So many of these stocks fill in these gaps out here. Let me go back to that. That gap up, not much of anything. Certainly some decent volume in this chart. This thing gapped up on the 13th of December. Who knows what that was, probably on earnings date. But we are back into it. That gap happened on 1.4 million shares. We already have 2.1 today. So looks like we're going to break that low. The next one setting up on Post Holdings is the October 8th low at $38.31. Just make sure what these, I think this is Post Properties if I'm not mistaken. Market's ready to eat. Oh, this is the wrong one. I thought it was Post Properties. It's Post Holdings. These guys make the cereal. I guess all that high-priced wheat and everything else hitting them up. But I didn't see what... let's check with the news here and see what's happening. Adjusted loss of 2 cents a share versus a 19-cent estimate. Revenues rose 76% year over year. $438 million. I'd have to look more into this. Down 8.5% though. That's all you need to know. And heavy volume to blow back through these lows. So, Andy Heck, kind of interesting. His little thesis of you got to know what's going on. The cereal grain company looking like it's going to have problems. AIRM. Another one out here we want to take a quick look at. Filling its gap. And of course, if I haven't said it enough already, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Wilbur. Another one filling its gaps, Air Methods Corporation. And I think these guys, take a quick look at what they do. Air Methods. Emergency Services Systems Company operates medical services, tourism, rotorcraft segments, AMS, medical transportation services to general population, fleet tourism. You know, I hadn't thought about how maybe the new healthcare system would affect people, but I guess the question is, okay, so they're actually flying people around, tours, websites, a little bit of everything out here. Certainly not a good day for Air Methods, though. Down on massive volume. It looks like another one of these stocks that is blowing away the volume that it gapped up on. A second here. Missed quarterly EPS by a nickel, and that looks like that's all you've got to do these days to get punished. But this thing gapped up on November 8th last year, 2.5, almost 2.6 million shares. We got, 2.4 million shares already. So easily going to blow through that level of volume. And probably going to find support here at about $44. So what else do we have? JCOM on the upside today. Let's see where this thing is going. It's down a little bit, not a whole. It's up a little bit. Excuse me. Boy, this thing just looks like it's in a bigger trading range. I don't see a lot out here in J2 Global to look. Did we see everything else? MT. Take a quick look at that one. Go through the rest of earnings. Of course, earnings pretty much getting out and finishing next Thursday for all the S&P stocks. I think Walmart is next Thursday, and that pretty much is the end of it. ArcelorMittal. I think this is the metals company, isn't it? Steel and mining company, integrated steel and mining. Down, volume not pick up that much, of course, out on earnings out here, but not a good sign, I guess. Volume not all that exciting. It looks like a lot more in the way of trade. FFIV, another one of these companies out here, filling its gap. And this one actually not too bad. A lot of these have blown through their lows. F5 Networks. This thing gapped up decent volume, sold off a little bit on the 23rd of January. It's kind of worked its way back in there. It's filled about half the gap. This actually has a gap that was a gap that was a gap. And now that we are back into that gap once again, you needed less than 7.2 million shares, and you certainly got it over the last 3 days. Let's take a look at this. 1.9 million shares. Yesterday, 1.1 million shares. Today, very quiet day out here. 600. As always, of course, we're talking about what kind of volume we have in the broad markets and what the S&P is doing. And we're basically off 3.3 points, 2 billion shares, so not a lot of volume in the S&P cash today. But what else can we say out here? Anything else we wanted to look at? Wanted to look at Microsoft, actually. I haven't had a chance to look at that today. MSFT and Microsoft Corporation. Some of the sales numbers coming out on this. Wanted to see if it was moving anything. Also, this is an important day in Microsoft. Today is the first day that Bill Gates, since the inception of the company, isn't the biggest stockholder. A bunch of sales from him, and actually I think some lump sum sales mean that he is no longer the biggest shareholder, but Ballmer is. And kind of interesting to see the torch being passed. Ballmer says he's not going to be selling much, although he did sell some recently. But it looks like he's going to be big man on campus for a while. Now the question is whether or not Microsoft can get back to this gap at 34. And they've got a lot of things going for them, of course. But they're going to have some announcements about the 20th of May for some new products. And then they get into the gaming part of the business where there'll be a lot of stuff first part of June. So some interesting things. But kind of look like they finished the ABC up. Completed up there at $41.66. So now it's time for this thing to consolidate out for a while, and we'll keep an eye on see whether or not this thing can move any lower. What do we have out here? Pretty much what we were looking at. Of course, the big move today in the dollar index, up 54 cents. And of course, everybody thought maybe that the dollar would finally break. A lot of intervention from our folks across the pond to get that dollar back in there. In fact, some of the news today, I think it was last night, was the big shoe manufacturer in Germany. What is that? It's Adidas. Saying just how much that the strong euro was hurting their exports, and how Nike was actually stepping in with the weaker dollar that we've seen over the last 3-6 months and eating their lunch. Basically, Adidas trying to speak to the Euro folk over there, saying, hey, we need a weaker euro. I don't like this strong euro out here. But interestingly enough, Nike, what is it, NKE? I didn't get a chance to look at that after I heard the interview with the CEO. I think it is NKE, isn't it? Yeah, Nike. It's not doing much on that, but well, this thing's got a high volume low. It's going to come back and test that. So Nike needs to come back to the $70.60 low from April 7th, and we'll take a look at that. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Seems like a very quiet day out here. Probably everybody getting just a little frustrated with a market that won't move up and won't move down. Trying to think what else we have out here I wanted to look at. Did we have anything else on my list? What's the Post, JCOM, GPS, BAP? Another one on my list to look at out here. And this is Credit Corp, and BAP had its old high out here at 167.63. It hadn't made it up there, has it? So can't say that. Certainly it's back into the gap, and this gap acting as resistance. That gap came down on March 12th of 2013, 700,000 shares. So that's not a whole lot, but you basically had a huge move out here this morning that looks like it came right back in to fill underneath that gap. Credit Corp Limited. Let's take a quick look and see what these guys do. Provides financial and health service primarily in Peru, the Cayman Islands, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, and Panama. Pension funds, banking, drug money. I'm just saying that. You got to figure there's got to be a certain percentage of everything they touch down there is drug related. I always heard that every $100 bill that wasn't brand new had cocaine on it, but I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it's one of those urban myths out there, but you never can tell. We've got a few other stocks. Gonna have to get to these when we come back from the break. Genworth Financial, GNW, another one up here at these highs. We'll be taking a look at it when we come back.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the diagnostic box spread analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's diagnostic box spread analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Anyway, got a message in that didn't hear already. Anyway, we're going to look at a couple of companies as we close out the show today. Still have time, if you're quick on the draw, to call me at 877-927-6648 as we go off into that long weekend. But we'll keep an eye on it. Just as we get ready to close out the day, just going to check in one more time. What do we have? Okay, off 2.5 points, 2.1 billion shares. The volume's light on the way up, on the way down. A non-committal, or like a non-denial. Hard to look at, but looking at a lot of these, nothing really looks like it's got any kind of gumption in it to be moving. So we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, Genwa Financial. Very interesting stock. This thing's been up here at these highs 3 times. March 24th, $18.26. 19 million shares. Breaks through it on April 3rd. 12 million shares and 5 million shares out here on May 8th. And just doesn't look like there's a lot of juice coming back in this thing to push a lot of these stocks that are at highs out. Silicon Motion Technology, another one of these companies that actually doesn't look too bad on the chart. You would need some movement in the markets to get this thing going, pretty much filling its whole gap. Interestingly enough, SIMO had a huge day up on January 28th. That was on 2.4 million shares. And what do we got here last 3 days here? 300,000 shares, 200,000 shares, 136,000 shares today. And it's down there and filling that gap. Being an interesting chart out here. So if you, what'd you go? You go about $15 to $18. It's not a bad trade out here. We have a high out here at $18.44. Maybe $17.79, but in a narrower trading range out here. But you'd need at least the NASDAQ, I think, to probably make that trade. But certainly one of the stocks out here without a lot of volume as it comes back into these lows. And Vera Bradley, maker of clothes, right? So what she does, VRA. And this thing, another one of these things kind of bucking these highs. The March 20th high had $29.34, 1.9 million shares. So as we get ready to go through that high, the last few days, last 4 days, 999,596,800, let's see, 498,000 yesterday as it went back up and made that high. And volume coming back in here at 813,000 shares today. Not a huge range out here, but it looks like it's setting up a $30, $29.50 back down to this high volume day at $25.61. So probably not enough meat in here to trade, but just these were the stocks that I could find that were trying to hit these highs, and I really didn't find anything that was blowing through them with a lot of gusto that it hadn't come back. Probably the strongest part of the market is video games this week, strangely enough. So we'll be in the first hour of the Tom O'Brien Show today, coming in at 20 after the hour. So make sure and join us then. Of course, on Monday, we'll be back, same bat channel, same bat time, reminding you to sell when you can, not when you have to. See you then.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.